We all we got as a community. There's no unity without the community.
Amen.
What kind of job do you have? Because you got a name badge on.
Yeah, I work for a nonprofit organization
I love this guy.
that combats anti-violence initiatives.
Really?
Yeah.
My daughter's actually a domestic victims advocate.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Let me ask you a question. You're on parole, so your hustle is working here. This is like your job.
This is my 9-to-5 job, and it's funded through the mayor's office.
Okay. But let me ask you a
DYCD.
question. Did you ever explore the possibility in the vistas of your mind to think that you might want to start your own business?
Of course.
Well, what kind of business would you start?
One just like the one I work for.
Tell me about that business.
Because what I do exactly is I speak to at-risk youth, that's into gangs and stuff like that, to get them involved in OSHA programs, security training programs,
Okay.
adult literacy.
But when you teach that to guys who have OSHA, are those felon-friendly type of jobs? Is that what you're trying to get people into?
When you say that, what do you mean?
In other words, if you have a criminal record, the employers will hire you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
But let me ask you a question. What do you think happens with promotions eventually and raises? Will they hold your criminal record against you?
In this line of work that I do, no.
Okay. So this is your extent. In your mind, you want to. But you just said you wanted to be self-employed. So what kind of self-employment would you actually pursue? What would you do? Like you say this, but when you say this, what do you mean? You're going to start an NPO?
Pretty much, yeah, nonprofit organization, yeah.
Okay.
And to pretty much to rebuild in the communities that was once damaged by
Got it.
at-risk youths.
Okay.
And even when I was an at-risk youth, because I'm 40 plus right now.
So you want to teach the kids to get rid of the illegal hustle and turn it into legal hustle?
To show them a better way, give them financial literacy
Right.
avenues, so that they could show that if there's a legal way to get the money that they're trying to strive and risk their freedom for illegally, that you
Okay.
could get it legally.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. When are you planning on doing this? What's stopping you from doing this?
Actually, nothing is actually stopping me, because like my wings is everywhere my 10 toes is at. I look at it as wings, where if I'm here in Hempstead and I travel from here to Brooklyn, or from Brooklyn to Queens, I spread the message and the word of the work that I do,
Right.
which is the wings being
Got it.
spread.
Right. So basically, you want to basically turn sinners into saints.
In a sense.
In a sense, but metaphorically, of course, not physically, but
And to also curb any violence and unprovoked attacks of people like running up on random people to hit them upside their head, to take their pocketbooks, to rob people, to show them a better way.
why do you think they do that?
I think a lot of people of the urban community will use, oh, I'm a product of my environment, as an excuse. But in a sense, they are a product of their environment when there's a lot of influence
Got it.
in the environment.
Right.
A lot of influence as far as drug dealers, gangbangers, and people doing things of that nature, where the youth is like a sponge, as we all know, and they soak and sponge it all in, to soak it all in and learn from what they see.
Right.
Not just from what's being taught in a classroom. A lot of youth learn from what they see.
Yeah.
If you see a 3-4-year-old kid, they know how to use an iPad better than some of the
That's
others.
right. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, because the entrepreneurship training that we actually give to probationers and parolees is actually visual as well as written. Because I find that sometimes people actually learn from a video and seeing a guy actually do it rather than just read it.
I've actually learned
I'm a
that-
reader, but I'm also like
I've actually learned that in state prison, where you have audio learners, visual learners,
Right.
hands-on learners.
yeah.
So I take that from that environment of learning that in the prison environment to bring that out here to an extent, but not with the prison environment.
Well,
Right.
what I'm saying to you is, I'm going to give you this. We actually put together that really, we're all about helping the youth.
Absolutely.
Because if you teach the youth at a young age how to be self-employed entrepreneurs, a lot of times they don't go to crime. they actually go the other way. And since you're going to get rid of violence,
Mm-hmm.
you're less violent when your pockets are full. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not for nothing, just how you gave me your spiel right now on the walk up as I go to report the parole. I would love for you to even come down to my office and meet with my program director.
I would love to.
And to give the same spiel.
I would love
where
to.
you could link with us, Elite Learners Incorporated, and further branch out where you could give the same spiel
Absolutely.
to other.
Yeah, man. And I'm going to safely assume your PO loves what you do, correct?
Absolutely.
I was going to say,
They-
you know?
Like, in the course of time I've been on parole, I've been switched several times from parole officer to parole officer, but each and every one of them has direct knowledge of the work that I do.
Beautiful.
And they are definitely all for it.
Have you ever had any difficult ones? Any kids that were really, very violent oriented that you had to, make their heart changed?
Absolutely, and it's all about the approach. Not everyone has the right approach to grasp everyone's attention in conveying a message.
What's your approach?
I use my personal experience, to
That's
be
the way to do
honest.
it.
I like that. Whatever impact was your impact, if I can beg and pry, did it have to do anything with drugs, possibly?
As a influence and peer pressure, yeah,
Gotcha.
in a sense, but more so of the choices being made
Okay.
as a young adult.
I mean,
so-
is it an avenue for them to make a lot of money? That's one of the reasons why we find that they, they're lured into it. The easy, quick, fast money, and the girls, and the glitz, and the glamour, and the
pretty much, entertainment industry,
Right.
the hip hop
Oh, it's
industry,
terrible.
yeah.
and they see what other people have, nice cars, like you said, the glitz, the glam,
And how about the gang initiations? When I heard in the streets that they're punching people in the face just because they want to be, initiated into a gang. Do you find that in your violence training, or is that just a myth?
Nah, that's a total myth.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
a YouTube myth.
That's good to know, though.
It's good to know.
That's
you
a
hear that a
total
lot.
myth.
Now, this is from a guy who's actually deals with violence on a
Exactly.
regular
And-
basis, curing violence rather, trying to curb violence.
And actually, the training I've actually received is from a company called Cure Violence, based out of Chicago.
There you go.
And the trainer is a world-renowned trainer who's trained the class globally.
Really?
And, yeah.
And so, in other words, you got trained in the nonviolent, how to.
And how to approach the youth in being trained to mediate hectic and tense situations.
Right. Lose the aggression.
Right.
Lose the rage.
Right.
Right.
And if there's like retaliation to be presented onto another for a simple wrongdoing or
Right.
whatever, how to approach and bring down these people to your level to be able to convey the message that you're trying to convey, to curb violence and curb any retaliation, and to minimize bodies being dropped and coroners being called, medical examiners, and families being crying and making funeral arrangements. We try to curb these things, and even in the event
Yeah.
when that happens, organizations like ours, we try to help and assist crime victims if they're having financial hardships for burials
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We show support. And
Wow.
we do vigils and prayer vigils and community responses where the community can respond and let their voices be heard, where violence is not a place in the community.
It's funny you say that because a lot of the guys that I grew up with, when they got out of the joint, they had to learn some hard rules too. And one of the things was, that I learned at a young age was ignore, accept, and forgive. And I said, what does that mean? Well, my friend taught me. He says, if a guy's an asshole, you got to ignore the fact he's an asshole. And you want to punch him in the face because he's an asshole. But you got to ignore that out of respect for yourself. Then the next thing you got to accept. You got to accept the fact the guy's an asshole. Ignore him, but know he's an asshole. The last part is forgive. You got to forgive that guy for being an asshole,
For
so
they
you
don't know
don't become
that
the
they're
bigger
being an
asshole.
asshole.
And next thing you know, you're here, which is I don't want to be here.
Jesus said it on the cross, Father, forgive them for what they don't know what they do.
Yes.
And a lot of these people who are assholes really genuinely don't know that they're assholes.
Right.
That's
right.
just them being them.
So yeah, and basically you didn't wait for a second chance. You went out when you came. You know, can I ask how long? How much? What was your bid? How long?
I completed an 8-year bid, and I've been home about 2.5 years now.
Okay.
God bless.
Yeah, because we would love to eventually have you in our office and talk more about that, because you must have saw a lot of violence inside as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Being in maximum security
imagine
prisons.
so.
Yeah.
From the beginning, from
Yeah.
day one, was in maximum security prisons,
And you survived. You seem actually coherent.
Yeah, absolutely,
You're
'cause-
not mentally ill right now.
No,
did you go to
absolutely.
the shoe a lot? Were you talking to? No.
I went to the shoe before,
Right.
and it's pretty much for defending myself in the midst
Got
of
it.
violence.
Got it.
Where,
I mean,
it was-
lucky you came out alive. Is what I'm really saying.
absolutely, absolutely, and,
Straight up, bro.
And on the greater part of it all is like, I'm glad that the person who attacked me wasn't harmed or his life wasn't taken, and vice versa.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be out here to take a life.
You forgave him for being an asshole, didn't you?
I forgave him for being a super asshole because
Yes,
the person who it was, he randomly attacked me, and he was in prison for killing my childhood friend.
Yeah, it's a bad
So-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgive him for being a great asshole.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I wasn't looking for trouble because I have an 8-year bid. Dude, he has life on the end.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't trying to
you have a
avenge my
vested
friend's
interest
death.
to make sure.
You gonna
Yeah.
live your life in this environment and deal with it how you deal with it.
Right.
I have 8 and I'm gonna skate.
Yep.
So
Yes.
that's my whole mindset and objective. So, you know, even after I came out of the shoe, he came out of the shoe after the fight incident, I spoke to him, and that's where I gave him my forgiveness. But I told him to stay away from me.
I gotta ask you, what advice would you give to youth to make them avoid a life of crime?
To avoid a life of crime, man, if you're still in the school, stay in school, hit them books, go on to college. Me, I could have been a star athlete fresh out of high school. Donovan McNabb watched my practices in Valley Forge Military Academy.
But
I
guess
play
what?
football and basketball.
Yeah.
If you have these opportunities and you are nice at a sport and very athletic, do that sport. Stay in school. Hit those books. Make something of yourself.
Can you add one thing? Start your own business. Be your own boss. Be the man. Don't work for the man. But if you do work for the man, make sure it's righteous.
And
This man right here, who's helping kids get rid of violence. That's a,
and the opportunity presents itself if you happen to become an athlete and
absolutely.
you're working as a professional athlete. Make sure you give back to your communities.
stay away from the drugs.
Stay away from the drugs. Make sure you give back to your communities and do what's right out here. Because we all we got as a community. There's no unity without the community.
Amen.
No unity without the community. I heard,
I love that.
my friend.